Okay, Jim Tice here, the natural bee apiculturist. When I bought this hive, it came everything coated in beeswax, and so I put it all together. I bought a nuke, I put the nuke in. The nuke was really strong. It was a full 5 frames, and then like 2 or 3 weeks after I put the nuke in, I came out and looked, and they were at 7 or 8 frames. So I thought, okay, they're going to need a second box on top of the nuke. So I put the second box on top of the nuke, and when I did that, I brought 1 frame of brood up into the second box, because that was kind of what I was told you should do, or kind of what I learned you should do to bring more bees up to the top. But then I noticed more bees weren't coming to the top, and when they did, they would start being on the empty frames, but they weren't building honeycomb on the empty frames like I thought they should. So then it took weeks, so then I discovered that my plastic frames should have more beeswax on them. That the beeswax that was on the plastic frames wasn't enough. And I didn't know that to begin with. They said if you don't have enough beeswax on the plastic frames, they're not going to draw out the honeycomb correctly. So anyway, so I discovered I needed more beeswax on the honeycombs. So I bought some wax, and I bought a heater, and so today I made 5 more frames of heavily coated beeswax, and I'm going to see if I can trade those out and get them to start building honeycomb the way they're supposed to. But as of right now, in the top box, they're not building honeycomb the way they should be. So today I put these new frames together, and especially on the top, I coated them heavily with beeswax so that it hopefully gives them a good start to build frames. So I'm going to see how many frames I can take out of the top and how many frames I can get in there and get them changed out. So that's the plan for today, and that was another one of my learning lessons about taking care of bees. So let's see what we got. So this is September the 10th or 11th. I don't want them to go into winter without being able to build up some good honeycomb. It looks like they're doing pretty good up here right now. They're busy on the top. Take out the queen excluder. And let me see what we've got here. I mean, the top frame is full of bees. They're starting to draw out, but they're building brood comb instead of honeycomb on the frames. They're just tying the frames together. So let me see one of these outside frames and see what we've got. This one's loose, it's not tied together, so I get a feeling this frame has absolutely nothing on it. And it doesn't. It's got some bees, but absolutely nothing on it. So the next frame I think is going to be exactly the same. And it's going to be, they were starting to build brood comb in between. So let me get rid of that. And in the next frame, they've tied those two completely together. So I'm not going to be able to get them out. This frame, I think, is going to be okay. Yeah, they've done nothing on this frame either. And this frame also looks like they've done nothing on this frame. So let me get rid of these 4 frames. Let me replace these 4 frames with heavily coated frames. Move that one to the outside. they're starting to build on that one, so I'm going to leave that one where it's at. And this one they built between the two frames, so there's not going to be anything I can do. So let me see, I can get, I've got some nice heavily coated frames here. Let me get these in here and see if they'll build out the honeycomb a little bit better. Another learning lesson. First time I'd heard of it, but I coated all these frames heavily with beeswax so that hopefully they will start to draw honeycomb on it. So that gives them 4 more frames of nice honeycomb that they can maybe draw on. And I didn't even think about it. Let me look down below. My bottom frames also didn't have a lot of honeycomb on them, so I'm hoping they started to draw on that, but I seriously doubt it. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're drawing much honeycomb on the bottom frames either. So I don't know what they're going to do. That's the frame I brought up to begin with. That one's drawn out very nicely. They're starting to draw up between these two frames, a little bit between these two frames, and not much of anything between those. So maybe they'll start drawing out on these frames now, but we're just going to have to wait and see. This one they're starting to finally draw out on. But now that I have some good beeswax on these frames, I'm hoping they'll draw these frames out better and build this hive up. But we'll see what happens. Get these put back together nice. Tight. Starting to build their burr comb in there, or their propolis. Put them on top of that one. So I think this is going to help the hive considerably. We'll see. These combs I'll take and clean up and coat those heavily in beeswax. But hopefully this will help this top box. We'll see what happens. But I did not know that in the beginning. I do know it now. Hopefully, because I do know it now, we can be able to move forward with better hives and just draw a better honeycomb. But we'll see what happens. So hopefully I didn't disturb them too much. That's the hive back on. That's these frames. Ease off of that one. Yeah, they've drawn almost nothing out on these frames. Almost nothing. Yep. Almost absolutely nothing on these frames, so that's, it's pretty worthless. Let me give them a little bit more food right now. I'm giving them food now because they haven't drawn anything out on the hives or on the frames. I don't want to give them food, but at this point I don't have much of a choice. I gotta get them through winter, so we'll see what happens. So there's a little bit of food for them, and we'll just give it a few more weeks and see what happens. That's it for me. Jim Tice, the Natural Bee Apiculturist. If you like my videos, please subscribe and hit like, and I'll be making more. Thank you. Bye.